Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Welcome back to my channel. It is Sunday, 10 March, and I'm going to be using a slightly different format for today's video. This is the TradingView app, and you can see on the left the 4 tickers that I'll be discussing today. And on the right is just a summary with the yearly view perspective of how the ticker is going. We have Microsoft here, the 1-year ticker chart, and you can see that it's a constant uptrend. And you can also see on the far right of that chart, the big red candle, the first sell signal for Microsoft, and then the 2 green, and then the final red candle. Let's go to the daily chart and take a look. At the middle of last week, I talked about an area of support and resistance. Okay, you can see up here, this is a zone of resistance, as well as here, okay, a second one. Now, that's at the entry and completion of the gap. What you can see is price came up and hit the entry of the gap here and was sold down. Now, closest I can do to show a pointer is this, okay, so the crosshairs, so you have to bear with me. What you can see in this spot right here is that price attempted to go into that zone again and failed and has come down to this support. Okay, so this thick black line underneath the red candle right here is a zone of support. Okay, that's support. Now, because it's support, it's very possible that price will stay above it, but you can see that the momentum down here on the RSI is going downward, okay? Downward momentum. So at the moment, my thesis is lower prices for Microsoft. Perhaps it won't stay above this green line for much longer, and it will sell down and go down further. So let's see if I can use the brush here and draw perhaps zigzags and then further movement downward. Okay, so that's Microsoft. Let's switch to GDX. Here's GDX 1-year chart. You can see the downward trend, and then the 2 green candles at the end here, with the big green one showing significant move. Now, this is the daily chart of GDX. You can see the zone down here, the green, the support off the purple trend line. This is a 10% move up to here. This is like another 5% move. My thoughts for you is the zone of resistance is up here. Let me annotate it real quick. Okay, that's resistance. So price likely will come up, hit that, and then come back down and retest the 200-day. Okay, so the 200-day is right here in the blue, right? This is the 200-day here. Probably come over like that. Price will come down and likely test that 200-day, see if it'll hold. If it holds, then that might be an opportunity to go long. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see how price behaves. If it holds, then it'll bounce. Okay, do one of those things. If it doesn't, then I think it'll come down to this zone here, where I think I would prefer it to go. I would prefer for it to come down here, and for us to take a long down here. That's a better long entry. What I am a little bit concerned about is the gap zone beneath it. So at around the 2750 is that gap zone, which I have depicted here in the yellow box. So for now, let's be patient. Let's allow price to come to us to either the 200-day or the green annotation there on that darker trend line. Okay, that's GDX. Switching to XOM. Here's a 1-year chart. You can see quite a bit of green candles for the past few weeks, months. And let's take a look at the price action on the daily. So here's the daily. I'm going to zoom out for us because this one is pretty interesting to me. Okay, so you have here ExxonMobil, and you have that trend line that I've depicted here. I'm going to annotate it real quick. So you have a touch here. Okay, you've got another touch here. You have a lot of fighting here, and an impulsive sell down there, and then it's coming back to it right here. Okay, let's zoom in. So you can see that price is coming up into that zone of resistance, which I've annotated here with the red highlighter. And what I think will happen is price will come up, get rejected there. I don't think there's that momentum to have it go through. Even though we look carefully at the RSI, I'm going to zoom into the RSI for us down here. Give me a second. Here's our RSI. You can see that on the RSI, it's burned through the bearish divergence. But the way I've been seeing price action take place over the past 6-8 months is that the market makers burn through RSI only to have the price action continue in that direction. So I'm not convinced that this is a bullish move. Hence, down here in the RSI, I still have it shown as red. There's no green annotation. So for the foreseeable future, I'll just annotate it here. I think price will get rejected in this zone and subsequently sell downward. Okay. All right. So that's ExxonMobil. Let's switch over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can see on the yearly chart here, for the past year, it's up 200% with a lot of big moves in the past few months. Let's see if there remains any momentum for that. What I depicted in the video middle of last week, I said that the 69,000 zone would be resistance, and you can see that it went through it, okay, with a little bit of movement up to 70,000. Now, the reason why I'm zooming in here is you can see down here, further below, if you look at the volume candles, so the volume candles down here, see a lot of green candles, right? But you can see that the volume amount has been decreasing. So let's see. Okay, so let's look at the red candle first. This big red candle was 7,400 volume, and then it drops down to 42. I'm looking up here in the upper left corner, and then it goes down to 3,300 to 4,400, and then look, it drops down to 793 Bitcoins traded, and then 1.6 thousand Bitcoins traded. So the volume isn't really there. And then if I switch to the hourly, let's look at this. Zoom in here for you. Okay, on the hourly, you could see this sort of range here. I'll just kind of draw it. Okay, you see this. So what I'm seeing is this sort of, rising wedge. You can see that on the hourly. Now you might say, well, are you discounting this zone right here? Yeah, I'm discounting it because it was a big sell down. You can see that with all these red candles, going all the way down like this. The subsequent attempt to break through it on these candles here with the failure, and then boom, sold it, bought it up, and then it held right here. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that I'm discounting this is because this is the legit trend line support. That's the support line, and we have the resistance up here. You can see that. So Bitcoin, because it's so volatile, the hourly candles would be similar to how a lot of stocks move in a daily candle. So for now, I think this lower trend line of the wedge is the support trend line. This is the support one here. But you can also see that it broke it ever so slightly on the last couple hours of today. That's, Bitcoin is traded 24/7. So ever so slightly in the last hour, what time is it here? It's 22 o'clock, so it's 10 o'clock London time. So what time is that? East Coast, so it's daylight savings, 5 hours, so 4 hours, so it's, 8 o'clock East Coast time, New York time. So it's 8 o'clock New York time on Sunday p.m. And you can see that there's a break of this trend line, okay? So let's see what happens. I think it's a break of the trend line. It'll likely come down, retest 68,000. If it doesn't stay there for very long, then the next support is pretty far down at 62,000. Okay, so that's the hourly chart for Bitcoin. Now, if you like this format, using the trading tool, this is called Trading View, as the way in which I discuss and review stock tickers, please leave a comment and let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Thanks for watching. As always, remember that my content is for educational purposes only. It's not investment advice. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And when you subscribe, please do hit the bell icon